Shui, a powerful superpower in the apocalypse. Crossing the world of Douluo, she is a beggar. Fortunately, she was brought back to Tianshui College by Shui Binger. In this lifetime, she can still stand at the top of the world. Becoming a god is the only goal. Key words of the novel. Douluo's strongest auxiliary series Soul Master without pop-ups. Douluo's strongest auxiliary series Soul Master. Download the complete set of TXT, Douluo's strongest auxiliary series Soul Master. Read the latest chapter of Douluo's strongest auxiliary series Soul Master. Chapter 1. Douluo Continent. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1 Douluo Continent. 10 years after the end of the world, the bustling cities have turned into ruins, and several bases in China have been captured and turned into amusement parks for zombies. The large-scale zombie wave led by the Zombie Emperor is advancing towards the Dawn base, which is in danger. Roar and roar, charge, kill. The sharp black nails of the zombies pierced people's bodies, instantly tearing them apart. The battlefield was filled with a smell of blood, which undoubtedly increased their appetite for hunting. The strongest team at the forefront of Dawn base is the Undead Bird. A variety of abilities showcase their strengths, forming a defensive line that fiercely guards the gate of the base. Standing behind them are their compatriots, the only remaining vitality of humanity. They cannot fall. I would rather die than surrender in this battle. As time went on, the zombies became more and more excited, while the vitality of the psychics gradually declined. His teammates collapsed one after another, while Shui, who was protected by them, turned pale, his fingertips trembled, and his eyes were about to crack. After the apocalypse, she was fortunate enough to awaken the healing water system ability and joined the team of psychics. As the youngest girl in the team, she has always been favored. Brother Qian, sister Zhao, looking around, they all collapsed in front of her, unable to breathe. I am a healing superpower, and I can save everyone. The increasingly thin water flow, as if his body had been hollowed out, made Shui almost unable to hold on to his weak mental strength. And when the last superpower in the team collapsed, the girl looked at the blood-red pupils inside the zombie, her gaze resolute, and resolutely jumped into the group of zombies, focusing on the culprit. She let out a mournful roar, "Zombie Emperor, I want you to pay for the lives of my teammates." The loud explosion swept across a radius of hundreds of miles, and the pure white crystal cores of the healing-type superpower collided with the pure black crystal cores of the Zombie Emperor, creating an incredibly dazzling scene that passed in an instant. Douluo Continent, Tianshui City. It is said that everyone here will awaken an ability at the age of 6. What will she awaken? The magnificent Martial Soul Palace was lined with children who came to awaken, and some of the children brought by their parents looked at the little girl coming from behind with disdain on their faces. Where did the beggar come from? It smells so bad. This is not where you should come, get lost. Shui stood in front of the Martial Soul Branch Hall, staring blankly at the angel statue above. After dying together with the Zombie Emperor, she came to this world and became a 6-year-old beggar. She received a copper coin in her original form and was killed by some big beggars, while she took possession of the little girl's body. The little beggar, covered in dirt, placed one hand on his heart and said, "I don't know what your wish is, but I promise, I will stand at the top of this world and make the world look up to you." Next, the White Ocean, the deacon of the Martial Soul Branch Hall, whose martial soul is Black Panther, was testing the martial soul of the little boy when a waterbird appeared. Martial Soul. Diver's Eye, put your hand up to test your soul power, congenital level 4. Next, Shui observed his Black Panther martial soul without leaving a trace. The nearly 3-meter-high Black Panther phantom looked terrifying, and when facing the Black Panther's eyes, the terrifying feeling of being targeted by wild beasts was chilling. Shui walked into the awakening light mask, feeling warm and comfortable all over. There seemed to be something between his palms about to rush out of his body, and he saw a drop of water-blue transparent liquid hanging in mid-air on his unfolded left hand. Martial Soul. A drop of water. The Black Panther deacon felt for a moment that it was indeed an ordinary drop of water. He had seen many strange martial souls before, but he was not very surprised. Let's test your soul power, he said. Shui placed his left hand on the crystal ball, which emitted a dazzling halo. This is innate full soul power. The Black Panther deacon's face showed shock. Although innate full soul power was not very rare, it was also one of the few beings. Thinking about it, his face couldn't help but show a hint of enthusiasm. Hello, child, I am the deacon of the Tianshui Martial Soul Branch Hall, and I would like to invite you to join the Martial Soul Hall Academy. Where can you learn more comprehensive knowledge and receive the best training? Facing the Black Panther deacon who promised her the benefits of joining the Martial Soul Hall Academy, Shui politely refused. I'm sorry, I don't have any plans to join any forces at the moment. Tianshui City is surrounded by water on 3 sides, with moist air and lush vegetation growing everywhere. After leaving the Martial Soul Hall, Shui wandered around alone, and the best way to learn about an unfamiliar world was to observe. In a floor-to-ceiling restaurant, 2 girls are eating, with very similar appearances, probably twins. Shui has a sweet appearance and a dimple on her face when she smiles, making her very excited. Sister, our martial soul fusion has finally become perfect. That's great, she said. On the other side, there was a head of water blue long hair scattered behind her back, her fair face adorned with delicate facial features, and she looked somewhat calm. It was Shui Binger, a student from the intermediate class of Tianshui College, who said, "Come on, we sneaked out. When the teacher finds out, we'll have some good fruit to eat." Shui spat out her tongue and said, "Got it, sister. Sister, look, there's a little beggar outside." Upon hearing this, Shui Binger looked at Shui's calm and transparent blue water eyes, which were as clear as the sea. She was stunned. The little girl was just an ordinary person, but she always had a special feeling. "Little sister, come here and be hungry." "Sister, we can't finish this table of food. Can you help us? It's not good to waste food." An accident flashed in Shui's eyes. The 2 little sisters across from her probably said this to take care of her self-esteem. Despite this, she was grateful because she was really starving to death. "There is not a single penny in my pocket, and I can't even beat someone to have a meal as a king. However, the common currencies in this world are copper coins and gold soul coins, and I still need to find a way to make money." "Thank you 2 sisters." Shui walked all the way to the dinner table. She didn't miss the disdainful and contemptuous looks from the guests eating next to her, but she didn't care. She survived all the difficulties in her past life, and there was no reason to care about a glance from others. She wolfed down the food on the table, bulging a big lump in her stomach. If it weren't for Shui Bing's prevention, she could still eat a little more. In the 10 years of the apocalypse, even survival was difficult. Who knew how excited she was to be able to eat fast food like steak and hamburgers again? Shui Binger knew that Shui's life was very difficult when she saw that she was eating urgently. She showed a hint of unbearable expression on her face. "My name is Shui Binger, she is my younger sister, Shui Yuer." Has the younger sister awakened her martial soul? "If you have soul power, I can introduce you to study at Tianshui College. If you don't have soul power, there are several vacant positions in my family." Shui raised his head, his face calm and calm. "My name is Shui. Martial soul. A drop of water, innate full soul power. Can I enroll in school? I wasn't wandering around before." At least let her know that in Tianshui City, besides the Martial Soul Hall and several Earl mansions, Tianshui Academy is the most famous. She wants to understand this world and martial souls, and entering school is the safest way. Innate soul power. Shui Binger and Shui Yuer couldn't maintain their composure on their faces, and their gaze at Shui seemed to be at a dusty pearl. Of course, I believe Teacher Rong likes students like this the most. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Tianshui University. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Chapter 2 Tianshui University Tianshui College, Academic Affairs Office. A woman dressed in water white is the teaching director Shuirong, a 78-level soul saint, who stares at the two sisters in front of her. If I remember correctly, Shui Yuer didn't get a specially approved leave note at all. Shui Yuer's wet big eyes looked at her, her hands clasped together. Teacher Rong, please forgive me for finding a genius for you this time. Shui Bing shook her head when she saw her younger sister like this. Every time it was like this, her parents would hit your move. Teacher Rong, who is known for his selflessness, smiled and said, Shui Yue, if you don't follow the college regulations, you will be punished and imprisoned for 3 days. Teacher, I won't dare again next time, Shui Yuer said as she was dragged away with a sorrowful expression after handling the disciplinary violations of the students. Teacher Rong finally looked at Yu Shui, who was emitting a foul odor all over. Tianshui Academy only has 2 requirements for recruiting students. The first is that the martial soul must have water attributes, and the second is that only girls are accepted, and they must be beautiful women. Teacher Rong has a sensitive smell and is suffocated by the smoke. Yu Shui, right. You have met the admission requirements. After filling out the registration form, immediately go to the bathroom to wash yourself clean, he said. Yu Shui blushed a little and was taken to the dormitory by Shui Binger. Members of Class A, the first year of Tianshui College, can each have a separate small bedroom and come with their own bathroom. Although sparrows are small, they have all 5 internal organs. 2 hours later, the room door opened and Shui Binger looked at the little girl walking out. Her eyes were stunning, and she was so cute. She was dressed in the school uniform of Tianshui Academy, with fair facial features and agile blue pupils. She had been suffering from long-term malnutrition and had lost some weight. Yu Shui tugged at his clothes, feeling a bit uncomfortable. It was extremely beautiful, but he didn't get used to wearing it. Sister, he said, Xiao Shui looks very beautiful in her school uniform. Shui Binger introduced Yu Shui to the training ground, classrooms, library, oceanarium, and cafeteria of Tianshui College. Tianshui College covers a large area and only took a rough walk. Yu Shui was already tired of his legs and feet, struggling to keep up with Sister Binger's footsteps. He carefully remembered every word she said, and Shui Binger nodded in satisfaction. At night, Yu Shui lay on a soft bed, looking at the ceiling. Currently, entering the Tianshui Academy is a good start. According to Teacher Rong, she will be taken to hunt soul beasts tomorrow, and I don't know what abilities she will gain. In her previous life, her water system ability was healing, and I don't know if this life is still healing. A heart full of anticipation couldn't resist the heavy drowsiness, and Yu Shui completely fell into a dream. On the other end of Douluo continent, the second-ranked blue electric Tyrannosaurus Rex family. The awakening platform, adorned with the Tyrannosaurus Rex emblem, is led by the clan leader Yu Yuanjin, while several elders sit beside him. Among this generation of disciples, only Tianxin and Tianheng are the most outstanding. According to reports from the Thunder Academy, Tianxin has already exceeded level 26, and Tianheng has also broken through the realm of the Great Soul Master. There are successors in our blue electric Tyrannosaurus Rex family. Yu Xianli, it's your turn. A 6-year-old boy with a serious face and a particularly calm gaze, with a phantom of a blue electric Tyrannosaurus Rex on his body and a hint of lightning power. Martial Soul. Blue electric Tyrannosaurus Rex, first, innate full soul power. The first person to stand up was the clan leader Yu Yuanjin. It should be noted that the blue electric Tyrannosaurus Rex is the strongest beast martial soul. Since the establishment of the sect, the innate full soul power was like a rare horn. Previously, the Jade Heavenly Heart had an innate soul power of level 8, and Tianheng, known as the next young sect leader, was already the strongest level 9 innate soul power. And now, Tianli has actually reached the full level of innate soul power, which is the hope for the revitalization of the sect. Yu Yuanjin picked up his youngest grandson with one hand and said, "Ha ha ha, my Blue Electric Overlord family has a chance to surpass the Haotian sect and become the world's first sect. Under the envy, admiration, or eager gaze of the crowd, the young man's eyes did not fluctuate at all. He was once a human youth, but after the end of the world, he did not expect to be betrayed by his girlfriend and brother, pushing him out to block the zombies. Afterwards, he became the zombie queen, constantly growing stronger and swearing to kill all those hypocritical humans. He went very smoothly, taking over many cities one after another, but unexpectedly overturned his car in a small base. The girl who suddenly appeared unexpectedly pulled him to his death. Her breath was water, and she had a detestable healing ability. If he were to see her again, he would definitely not be able to spare her. Divide lines. The first ray of sunshine in the morning fell on the window, and the girl in the room opened her eyes. After waking up, Shui picked up the nearby school rules and carefully looked at them. The first rule of Tianshui College is to have a neat appearance. She should say, "Is this truly a beauty-loving college?" With one eye and 3 lines, I quickly memorized the rules inside. Shui opened her palm, and a drop of water appeared on her left hand. On her right hand, there was an undead bird martial soul, which was golden in color and looked similar to the legendary phoenix, but somewhat different. Isn't this the logo of their post-apocalyptic team? Shui could feel that this was a very powerful beast martial soul, so with a drop of water, she had 2 martial souls. After thinking for a moment, she put away the undead bird martial soul. Continuing to observe a drop of water martial soul on the left side, it is very friendly, and one can feel it carefully. Even the molecular structure inside can be felt, as if it has been magnified several times. What a magical phenomenon! There is a large sea area outside Tianshui City, where marine resources are abundant. Following Teacher Rong, he stepped on the beach and looked at the blue ocean. Shui couldn't help but feel happy. Teacher Rong, the ocean is so beautiful. But a razor clam poked its head out from the beach and then aimed at Shui, spitting out a water arrow. Anticipating danger, Shui was startled and dodged the attack. Beautiful things are dangerous, and no matter what environment you are in, being vigilant is something you must do. Teacher Rong didn't expect the little girl's reaction to be so agile. Your martial soul is just a drop of water. It doesn't seem to have much attack power, and its development direction can only be towards healing or auxiliary systems. Under the guidance of the teacher's science popularization, Shui, who had a general understanding of the development direction of soul masters, said, "Teacher Rong, I want to develop towards the direction of healing." She was a wet nurse in her past life, and it's good to return to her old job in this life. Well, the development direction of the healing system. I remember there is a territory of sea cucumbers nearby. It may not be eye-catching to watch, but the tentacles are very strong and sticky. If you encounter it, don't rush to break free, otherwise you will be swallowed in one bite. Teacher Rong quickly found the gathering place of sea cucumbers. Shui too saw the colorful sea cucumbers for the first time, each with a huge body. Then, he saw Teacher Rong choose the most beautiful one, but he saw that the century-old sea cucumber was about to run. At that moment, the dolphin's martial soul possessed the second soul skill. The dolphin's sharp cry, a loud dolphin sound, shocked the surrounding marine creatures, and the milky white sea cucumber's tentacles kept trying to resist. Looking at the 7 halos on Teacher Rong's body, making a piercing sound and cutting off the tentacles of sea cucumbers, Shui watched from the side. The soul skills of this world were surprisingly similar to those of previous online games, which was so peculiar. Alright, you have your soul ring. Come and absorb it. Thank you, Teacher Rong. Shui picked up a dagger and stabbed it into the head of the sea cucumber. After killing it, a yellow soul ring floated out from above the sea cucumber's body and landed on Shui. Something was attacking her mental strength, the weightlessness like riding a boat, the squeezing of water, almost suffocating. Shui heard Teacher Rong outside, "Stay calm, don't be distracted." End of this chapter. Chapter 3. First Grade Class A. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3 First Grade Class A. An hour later, Shui finished absorbing the soul ring and couldn't help but show joy on her face. This white sea cucumber was actually the king of this generation of sea cucumbers. After absorbing it, she was already a level 13 soul master. Shui only felt that her speed and physical fitness had improved significantly, and her whole body was full of strength. What is your soul skill? Shui Rong asked curiously. It is healing. Currently, it can heal 15% of injuries and also deliver 10% of soul power to teammates. As soul power increases in the future, the healing effect will also become stronger. Teacher Rong's gaze lit up, and his strong auxiliary ability was comparable to that of the auxiliary soul masters of the Seven Treasures Glass sect. It was simply a combination of healing and assistance. Such a wicked genius, she even picked it up. Teacher Rong's cold and frosty face rarely showed a smile. Very good. Tianshui College covers a vast area with a strong faculty, supported by the Tiando Empire. The college is divided into low-level classes, intermediate classes, and advanced classes, each with 3 grades. When Shui walked into Class A of the first year, he saw a room full of curious little loli looking at her, whispering to each other. It is said that she was a student crammed in by Teacher Rong, or was she born with full soul power? When it comes to actual combat, I must give her a try and see what the difference lies in her innate full soul power. A female teacher dressed in black and white formal attire walked up to the podium and said, "Silent, this is Shui. Starting today, I will be attending class with everyone. Regardless of the grade level, those who can enter Class A at Tianshui College are all students with innate soul power reaching level 6 or above. Many of them are talented students, and each student not only has necessary knowledge but also enjoys a separate simulated cultivation environment. There are various simulated soul beasts in the aquarium for students to practice practical combat abilities and increase combat experience. Of course, don't think that entering Class A means everything will be fine. The college adheres to the principle of being able. If challenged by other students and lost, you must give up your position unless you win back. This kind of arena-like approach promotes the enthusiasm of students in other classes to cultivate, and also gives talented students a sense of urgency, chasing each other and making progress together, which can be called a virtuous cycle. Alright, classmates, in this class we will talk about the distinction between aquatic plants and aquatic animals. The teacher of Penguin Martial Soul on stage talked incessantly, while Shui was distracted by his first soul skill. As we all know, the auxiliary soul master is weak and has never had much self-protection ability, but is this really the case? In her past life, in order to exercise her physique, Captain and Sister Zhao took turns engaging in devil training. If she could suddenly train her body to the same intensity as the war soul master, would it be possible to change this flaw? The theoretical class only lasts for 1 hour, followed by practical classes. In the training ground, the students began to draw lots and compete in pairs. Shui drew number 5, and together with her was a girl named Blue Sky. Her martial soul was a cute seahorse and a level 15 soul master. As soon as Blue Sky looked across, his face immediately changed. "Oh no, I actually met them. What should I do?" Shui followed his gaze and said, "Are they very powerful?" Blue Sky is about to cry. Their martial soul is a swordfish, commonly known as a piranha, and they are already 19-level soul masters. The innate racial oppression has much higher soul power than her, and she cannot resist it at all. And the other martial soul is Seagrass, a level 15 control soul master, which is also somewhat difficult to deal with. Is that right? Shui's gaze sank and he secretly pondered a solution. The competition begins, and Penguin Teacher watches from the side, constantly recording the various abilities of the students, as well as the combat methods, advantages and disadvantages, for future improvement. But Hao Lan's gaze on the other side was sharp, and his martial soul was instantly possessed. The sword-toothed fish grew 3 times stronger and rushed straight towards the blue sky. With just one punch, the blue sky was thrown away. The first soul skill. Healing. A drop of water in Yushui's palm followed closely, and the blue sky instantly became lively. Hao Lan turned his head to look at Yushui and first dealt with you, an auxiliary soul master. The remaining blue sky was easy to deal with. Just a faint move, the blue sky pounced into the air, only to see Hao Lan's figure rushing straight towards Yushui. Blue sky, solve the control system on the opposite side. Yushui's voice was very calm. At the beginning of showing weakness, Hao Lan and her teammates did not pay attention to Yushui and blue sky, and the continuous flying of blue sky also lowered their vigilance. The counterattack was just at this moment, and Hao Lan rushed towards her, while blue sky also rushed towards another member of their team. Now it's up to Yushui to persevere. But he saw a drop of water in his left hand, rapidly magnifying until it formed a circular sphere, large enough to directly wrap Yushui inside. Hao Lan's attack came in an instant, but he punched the transparent water-shaped wave shield. What's going on here? Hao Lan's constant attacks did not push Yushui out. The two faced each other through a layer of water barrier, until the blue sky on the opposite side defeated the opponent's controlling soul master. Hao Lan then realized, damn it. Now a 2-on-1 situation has been formed. Blue sky has been treated with Yushui's soul skills, and her soul power has quickly rebounded. On the other hand, Hao Lan on the opposite side has already wasted a lot of soul power. At this moment, she can barely protect herself. The blue sky kicked Hao Lan off the competition stage with one kick, and his eyes eagerly looked at Yushui. He rushed over and said, Yushui, we won. Well, we won. Yushui's face lit up with a joyful smile. The onlookers were all shocked. Hao Lan was the most powerful person in their first grade A class, and she was actually defeated by a newly enrolled student. Penguin teacher Mu Lu praised, congratulations to the blue sky, Yushui has won the victory, and you have cooperated very well. In the first battle, Yushui won her first victory. She watched the battles of other students, including waterbirds, frost and snow, as well as powerful soul beasts like polar bears. The excitement was unparalleled, and it also aroused her curiosity about this world. After the actual battle, the afternoon will be free time for activities. Yushui arrived at the library, which was sparsely populated and rarely visited. He found a vacant spot to quickly learn about various information about martial souls, soul beasts, soul power levels, and the distribution of power in Douluo continent. She is like a sponge, absorbing various information. A book on the top 10 core competencies of martial souls catches the eye, created by a master. The level of innate soul power is directly proportional to the strength of martial souls, with most weapon martial souls advocating assistance and most beast martial souls advocating attack. Yushui looked at her left and right hands. She had already planned to use the undead bird martial soul as her trump card and not expose it to people. So now she had to find a way to make a drop of water stronger. On the previous test bench, she found that the shape of a drop of water can change, such as zooming in or out. Alternatively, changing the form of water. Gaseous, liquid, or solid. Now Yushui is very grateful that not all the things taught by the teachers in the school have been thrown away, and these will become the foundation for her future survival. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Great Soul Master. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4 Great Soul Master. In the simulated training room of the aquarium, as a student of Class A, she can use it for free, just swipe her student card to enter freely. Yushui unfolded a drop of his water martial soul and threw it into the seawater, feeling its incompatibility. Why? Take out a drop of ordinary water for comparison, and soon discover the difference. It is the soul power contained inside. This time, Yushui extracted a drop of soul power from the water martial soul and put it into the water again. He saw it completely integrate into the pool. No matter how indistinguishable it was, it couldn't be taken out even if he wanted to. Her drop of water is essentially a healing ability, so using it to attack other soul masters will only achieve the opposite effect of healing them. So what if you extract the healing effect from a drop of water martial soul? Shui extracted the soul power contained in a drop of water and directed it directly at the opposite wall, with a weak effect, like a small raindrop falling from the sky, without any attack power. So what about curing it? Will the attack be stronger? Shui quickly condensed a drop of water into a small popsicle, smashed it against the wall, making a jingling sound, and then the popsicle shattered all over the ground. With the first time, there will be a second time. For cultivation, Shui has always been able to endure loneliness. After 3 or 5 experiments, she finally succeeded in making an ice arrow that hit the wall with little attack power, but it was much better than just a drop of water. Suddenly, a sense of weakness struck, and the pain in his mind felt as if he had been pricked by a needle. The soul power in Shui's body was depleted, and he had to meditate to restore his soul power. After repeating this 2 or 3 times, the soul power in the body has increased slightly. 2 hours later, Shui came out of the mimicry cultivation room, with a slightly pale face, which was the result of her continuous depletion of soul and spiritual power. There are many dishes in the cafeteria. Before Shui Binger left, she registered 50 golden soul coins for her student card. This love is deeply remembered by Shui, and one day she will repay it. Shui, who had his chest pressed against his back, politely ordered a pile of food. His 3 chicken legs were gnawed clean, but he saw the blue sky walking in disarray. "Hi, Shui, you also come to eat." Blue Sky rubbed his sore arm, feeling a bit disheartened, and sat across from Shui holding a lunchbox. "You are really lucky to assist the Soul Master of the Auxiliary Department. In the Academy, you not only receive protection, but also don't have to be challenged. Unlike me, a sensitive attack Soul Master, I had the misfortune of encountering a Control Department Soul Master today who didn't even hit the opponent's body and was tied up and beaten incessantly." Challenge. Shui looked at her puzzled. "I forgot you're new here, I don't know. Let me tell you, Tianshui College has set up a challenge platform specifically for students, with a qualifying competition on it. Each grade usually has 4 classes. Class D challenges Class C, Class C challenges Class B, and Class B challenges Class A. Of course, there are also A-class students who challenge the first grade. In short, in the college, strength is the king. Why? Shui was a bit puzzled. Although Douluo continent was generally more competitive and brave, it seemed that the girl's personality was not as aggressive. Of course, it's about competing for cultivation resources. Among all grades, only Class A has the best resources, such as the mimicry training room. Class A students can go anytime and anywhere, while Class B can only apply once every 3 days, Class C needs to apply once every 5 days, and Class D is even more impressive. Everyone just sharpened their heads and wanted to enter Class A, but for some reason, Shui suddenly had an urgent desire to improve his skills. What qualifications do you have to be lazy when those who are not naturally gifted like you work so hard? Blue Sky, let me help you treat it. Do whatever you say. Shui's mobility has always been very fast. After healing the Blue Sky with his martial soul, he went to the training playground of Tianshui Academy. There are many students here who are training sparsely. Her body has been thin and weak for a long time, with poor nutrition, and her foundation is lacking. She will need to slowly recuperate in the future. Let's start the training with running. Shui adjusted his breathing and started jogging along the playground. Because he didn't use his soul power, he ran nearly 300 meters and was already gasping for breath. Shui continued to run slowly, persevering and never giving up until the last moment. 1 circle, 2 circles, 3.5 circles. Sweat blurred his vision, and his limbs were as heavy as lead, unable to lift them up. His breathing was heavy, and he kicked hard. A drop of sweat fell into the eye socket, causing a strong stabbing pain and awakening Yushui's consciousness that was about to faint. Struggling back to the dormitory, I fell asleep. The next morning, the sunlight fell on her face. Yushui suddenly opened his eyes and finished washing at a sprint speed of 100 meters. He then ran towards the classroom and finally entered the classroom at the last moment when the teacher arrived. Penguin teacher frowned and began to point out the strengths and weaknesses of the students one by one according to yesterday's competition, while also explaining various simulated cultivation methods of martial souls. After class, Yushui went to the mimicry training room as usual, but was stopped by Teacher Penguin. Yesterday during the competition, I saw you wrap yourself up with a martial soul. Is this your soul skill that comes with your martial soul? Teacher Penguin was a bit curious. After all, things like releasing martial souls and changing their forms were very special. Teacher, my drop of water martial soul can be enlarged and shrunk. In the competition, when I saw Hao Lan rushing towards me, I was very scared, so the martial soul wrapped me up, Yushui replied softly and cutely, holding onto the lowly shell. Is that right? It automatically protects the master and is a magical martial soul. Maybe you can try attacking soul beasts next time. Will there be any additional soul skills? Teacher Penguin casually said. Yushui suddenly realized that among the top 10 core competitiveness of martial souls, it was mentioned that animal-type martial souls can add plant-type soul rings, and vice versa. It was like a drop of water falling into a hot oil pot, causing a boiling sensation. The restless heart was filled with joy, but the thought of being only 13 levels of soul power made it feel like a bowl of cold water rushing down from my head. The freedom of college life students is very high. Yushui made a plan for himself, waking up an hour early to go to the library to learn about materials, then attending classes, then going to the simulated training room for 2 hours, and finally going for a run at the training ground. Time may seem vague, but every moment is fully arranged. Soul power increased by a little bit in a day. Quickly, 2 years have passed. In the mimicry training room, an 8-year-old girl with flowing black hair opened her deep blue eyes, lifted her left hand, and a hail hit the wall, leaving a small packet of marks that quickly disappeared. After 2 years at Tianshui College, Yushui changed his weak body through daily exercise and now has a youthful physique. His height has also begun to increase significantly. Coming out of the mimicry training room, Yushui looked at every blade of grass and every tree in the Tianshui Academy, full of vitality and vitality. No matter how he looked at it, he didn't feel bored. Through the window, some newly enrolled elementary school girls were told by the older seniors, "Did you see them? Her name is Yushui, she is a monster from our Tianshui College. I usually only know about the training room, training ground, and dormitory running back and forth. We used to be in the same class, so she probably doesn't even know me. Although she is an auxiliary soul master, she wastes half a day running every afternoon, rain or shine. Is she crazy? No matter how much an auxiliary soul master cultivates, she can't compare to a single finger of a war soul master." Yushui didn't care about the nicknames given to her by the students, such as Cultivating Madness and Cultivating Madness. A girl with short hair waving her hands and a cheerful smile not far away is in the blue sky. "Xiao Shui, I have finally advanced to 3rd grade. Tonight, it's my treat. Let's celebrate well," she said. Upon seeing this, Yushui smiled slightly and said, "Blue sky, congratulations to you, but I'm afraid tonight won't work. I need to go find Teacher Rong now and obtain the 2nd soul ring. I probably won't be able to make it back." Blue Sky scratched his head and looked at Yushui's distant figure. "The 2nd soul ring, I'll go. She only took 2 years to ascend to the realm of a great soul master. Demon, how can you make me wait for love?" End of this chapter. Chapter 5. 2nd Soul Ring. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5 2nd Soul Ring. In the starry forest, Master Rong's martial soul is attached to guard the surroundings, and behind him is a soul saint with a spear and spear martial soul level 72. Yu Shui carefully pushed aside the grass, only to see a little squirrel disappear with a swoosh, as if it had exploded its fur. Teacher Rong looked at the stubborn little genius and said, "In the ocean behind Tiando City, there are always soul beasts that are suitable for you, but they come here to hunt." Yu Shui knew that Teacher Rong was not very willing to come this time. Her martial soul was a dolphin. After leaving the water, she encountered a martial soul master on the mainland, and her combat power inevitably decreased. She comforted him, "I have checked the master's theory of the top 10 core competitiveness of martial souls, and my drop of water martial soul has strong tolerance. This time, I plan to hunt a poisonous plant or animal. The Star Do Forest has a complete variety of soul beasts, which allows me to better choose the soul rings I need." "Teacher Rong, don't be angry." Yu Shui hugged the teacher's arm and acted coquettishly, then was scolded by the cute and unwanted Teacher Rong. "Can it be done? No one has ever experimented before. In case there is a problem that does not conform to the characteristics of the martial soul, don't cry when the time comes." If it weren't for the pursuers following Teacher Rong, Yu Shui would have doubted whether she was pedophilic. Not far from the Star Forest, in a black mist, a guard wearing the dragon-shaped martial soul symbol of the blue electric Tyrannosaurus Rex family is watching their young master fiercely hammer a double-headed dragon. The double-headed dragon was pitch black with black toxins all over its body. The liquid in its teeth corroded the surrounding vegetation, and its body was 6 meters long. The scales on its tail gradually degenerated into gold, almost transforming into a 1,000-year-old soul beast. It's hard to imagine such a powerful soul beast being chased and beaten by an 8-year-old boy. The first soul skill, Thunder Dragon Claw, Yu Tianli clenched his fist and grabbed his two-headed dragons with one hand, throwing them to the ground with a thud, the sound of the earth shaking. After knocking it unconscious, Yu Tianli took a knife and chopped off one dragon head before dying. Then he chopped off another, and for a moment, a yellow soul ring mixed with light purple fell onto Yu Tianli's body. The second soul ring is a soul beast that has been around for nearly 1,000 years, truly worthy of being the young master. The guard of the blue electric Tyrannosaurus Rex family, who was guarding beside him, looked at Yu Tianli with dazzling eyes. On the other hand, Yu Shui, who was blocked by black mist, listened to the sound of the earth shaking, his face serious, his eyes alert, and there were people nearby. But a bloody dragon head rolled down from the grass, and Yu Shui didn't pay attention. He stepped on it, cutting off the last breath of the dragon, only to see a yellow soul ring floating onto Yu Shui's body. Yu Shui, who was confused by the heavenly descending soul ring, quickly regained his senses and meditated in place, absorbing the soul ring. Teacher Rong was amazed by the vastness of the world and the abundance of wonders. How lucky it was to have such a good thing. An hour later, when Yu Shui and the others left the starry forest, they were still a bit incredulous. She had already prepared for 2 or 3 days to select soul beasts, but unexpectedly, it was done in an hour. It seems that the second soul ring completely meets your requirements. "What is the soul skill?" said Teacher Rong, pinching the tender face of Xiao Shui. Yu Shui looked at her in protest. "Uncle Lance, quickly resist this strange ant." "Still healing soul skill, healing 30% and delivering 20% soul power to teammates." Yu Shui shook her palm. What she didn't say was that this time, a drop of water finally carried the dragon's corrosive toxin. She could use healing to heal teammates, and then distribute the toxin on the surface of ice arrows and hail to strike enemies. A healing nanny with violent output, she can. It took Teacher Rong a long time to come to her senses, and her gaze at Yu Shui was like spring flowers blooming. This is really a big treasure, and the key is that she is only 8 years old, with infinite possibilities for the future. The 8-year-old Great Soul Master, even though she is rarely trained in the martial soul hall, is still her discerning eye and pearl. By the way, after the auxiliary soul masters of Tianshui Academy reach level 20, they will receive an auxiliary position at the challenge table to treat the students who suffered serious injuries during the competition. It is not for free work, and the academy will distribute rewards based on the number of healed students. Is it a gold soul coin? When it came to making money, Yushui's gaze suddenly lit up. Teacher Rong chuckled lightly. It was rare to see her showing interest in things beyond cultivation. How could it be possible? Working 1 hour a month earns a salary of 20 silver soul coins, more work, more pay. Okay, that's quite a lot, Yushui thought to herself. She had already read almost all the books in her library. According to the college regulations, after being promoted to the level of Great Soul Master, she would automatically be promoted to the intermediate class, and there was no need to supplement theoretical knowledge in class. In other words, she could have free time in the morning. Tianshui College, Challenge Platform. This is Yushui's first time coming here. There are 4 formal challenge stands and 8 competition stands next to him, whispering in his ears, cheering for his classmates as if he had entered a university debate. Hello, Teacher Su Chi. My name is Yushui and I am applying for the position of auxiliary therapy. Teacher Su Chi looks sharp and outspoken, making people dare not look directly at him. He is in his 30s or 40s, but in the martial soul world, the age of a soul master has never been used as a criterion for judgment. Yushui only knows that Teacher Su's martial soul is a polar bear and has a very bad temper. So you're the monster Yushui, the 8-year-old soul master. Not bad, really good. Su Chi slapped Yushui's shoulder with a palm, and he bent his legs and feet before standing up again and rubbing his shoulders. This teacher's strength is really great, he said. Su Chi was surprised. When the previous auxiliary soul masters arrived at her place, they were basically knocked down with a palm. This little girl is a bit interesting, and I heard she seems to be interested in exercising. Looking at Yushui, Teacher Su was full of interest. If you are from the healing department, then you will be assigned to the second challenge platform. In the coming days, as we approach the college to refresh our ranking competition, those kids are all working hard to challenge each other. It is said that Shui Binger and Shui Yuer, who have just been promoted to the advanced version, will join forces to challenge Snow Fox, who is ranked first in the ranking competition. There will be a lot of excitement to watch. Yushui's ears perked up. This was the second time she had heard about a qualifying competition. Are the 2 sisters going to compete? After 2 years in college, Yushui was busy practicing and didn't even bother to inquire about the situation of Shui Binger and Shui Yuer. It was only heard that Binger's Ice Phoenix was an excellent beast martial soul, crushing a group of martial souls at the same level. Putting aside the chaotic things in his mind, Yushui arrived at the second competition platform. There were already 2 people playing the game again. One was the quick attack type Ice Flake martial soul, and the other was the strong attack type Snow Wolf martial soul. The girl who uses Ice Flakes is a bit familiar, and the battlefield on stage is constantly changing. Ice Flakes are long-range attacks, although they can cause significant damage to Snow Wolf. At this point, she should seize the opportunity to pursue victory. What is she doing? Just as the ice sheet revealed a slight flaw, the Snow Wolf quickly charged forward, pounced, and with a fatal blow, directly determined the outcome. The referee announced that in this challenge, the winner is Yizhen. Yizhen stepped down with satisfaction and walked up to Yushui, revealing the wounds on his arm and saying, "Treatment." Yushui looked up at the ice girl crying while covering her face on stage. She still had the strength to cry, thinking that the attack she received was not too heavy. She used a drop of water martial soul to treat Yizhen. A drop of water, healing. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Comparison Table. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6 Comparison Table. A drop of water, healing. Yizhen watched as a drop of water fell onto her wound, quickly seeping in. It was warm and gentle, and then the wound healed as before, with no trace of any previous injuries. Not only that, she could feel a pure soul power wandering in her body. The lost soul power had been repaired, and now she could definitely fight again. I have had contact with auxiliary soul masters before, but with such a powerful soul skill that combines healing and soul power, this little girl is still the first person she has ever seen. Yi Zhen had a premonition that if she missed Yu Shui, she would definitely regret it. She straightened her expression and said, "Hello, my name is Yi Zhen, and I am a student from class 7 of the senior year. I would like to invite you to join my team." Yu Shui was healing the girl with ice sheets when suddenly he was stared at with an extremely enthusiastic gaze and looked up at her, "Team." Yi Zhen explained, after being promoted to higher grades, students from Tianshui Academy are basically at the Soul Master level. Each team is composed of Soul Masters from strong attack, sensitive attack, control, and auxiliary departments, forming a 7-person team. Through competition between teams, those who win first place receive a very special reward. Believe me, this reward definitely makes your trip worthwhile. Although we already have an auxiliary soul master in our team, I still want to invite you to join us. After Yi Zhen finished speaking, Yu Shui lowered his head and pondered, actually having an answer in his heart. Firstly, she has just entered the intermediate class and has not yet mastered her life-saving skills. Mao rashly joined the team composed of the advanced class, and at that time, she will face the Soul Lord in the competition. When facing danger, she not only exposes her trump card in advance, but also easily becomes a target of criticism, which is not worth the loss. Secondly, just now Yi Zhen said that they already have an auxiliary department in their team, so her joining will occupy an extra spot for nothing, causing dissatisfaction among others. 2 auxiliary soul masters are together, and one mountain cannot tolerate 2 tigers. If it causes internal conflicts, it will be very troublesome. And she is a person who hates trouble. Just as Yu Shui spoke up to refuse, a snow-white shadow rushed out of the crowd. The beautiful girl, Shuimei, and the fox's eyes were full of grievances. "Captain Yi Zhen, you promised me that your team will reserve a spot for me," she said. "Humph, you don't keep your word, scammer." A 14-year-old girl has already begun to take on charm, with a seductive feeling at a glance and a smile. Seeing Shuimei, Yu Shuinahai's first reaction was that this girl must have grown up to be a stunning fox spirit, Su Daji. "Yi Zhen. Let me introduce you to Yu Shui. Her name is Shuimei, a level 29 soul master of the Agility Attack series." "Wait, have you reached level 30? Yi Zhen carefully felt her aura and it was indeed level 30. She had promised this girl that if she could reach level 30 before her team was formed, she would be given a spot. Unexpectedly, Shui Mei, who had always been lazy, did it. Shui Mei's sorrowful little eyes flickered, "For whom am I so fortunate and hardworking in seclusion? How could you disappoint my sincerity so much? It's too much." Even if her heart was as strong as Yi Zhen's, she was made very guilty by the look in her eyes at the heartless man. After a second, Yi Zhen's expression on her face disappeared, she frowned, and spoke a little harshly, "Shui Mei, this is the second time. You are not allowed to use seduction skills on me in public in the future." "Got it, Captain," Shui Mei Jiao chuckled, her fox eyes slightly raised, and she turned to look at Yu Shui with a hint of contempt and disdain in her expression. "Your name is Yu Shui, you stole my team position." "Yu Shui. To be precise, Captain Yi Zhen has invited me, and I am currently considering it. Unfortunately, I do not intend to join your team." Shui Mei sneered and said, "With just one word from me, I can make it difficult for you to survive in Tianshui Academy. You are only a level 20 soul master, so what qualifications do you have to look down on the team composed of soul masters? The position of the team belongs to those who are capable. I don't want others to say that I am invincible. Let's play a game, and whoever wins will have their position. 6th grade Shuimei is challenging you. Do you dare to take on the challenge?" Yu Shui looked into her eyes and felt a particularly strong and irritable impulse burst out from the bottom of his heart, as if he was controlled by an invisible force in his heart. "So, is this the charm skill? Okay, I'll fight. Yu Shui never initiates trouble, but that doesn't mean she will swallow her pride when others trouble her. One dares to post a battle post, while the other dares to respond. Yizhen slapped his forehead and looked at Yu Shui on the competition table. You, as an auxiliary soul master, went to compete with a quick attack soul master. Isn't this a desperate attempt? No matter how anxious Yizhen was on stage, the two on stage were on the verge of war. Shui Mei, regardless of her age, soul power, or martial soul, stabilized Yu Shui's head. After the martial soul possessed her, she had a snow fox phantom on her body, and the shaky white silver tail added a touch of allure. Shui Mei, martial soul. Snow Fox, level 30 sensitive attack series soul master, Yu Shui revealed his martial soul. Yu Shui, martial soul. One drop of water, level 21 auxiliary soul master. After hearing Yu Shui's introduction, Shui Mei's eyes froze twice. What? Are you actually an auxiliary soul master? Is Yizhen crazy? Isn't there already an auxiliary department in the team? Why invite Yu Shui? The problem is, what should she do now? As we all know, the auxiliary department is famous for its crispy skin. She won't scratch people to death with just one paw. Just as Shui Mei was hesitating, Yu Shui was already prepared for the attack and was caught off guard. Ice arrow, go. 3 light blue ice arrows condensed in the air, emitting a chill, flew past and directly hit the target Shui Mei's head. The first soul skill, the Snow Fox clone, Shui Mei quickly reflected, almost avoiding the ice arrows with her body, and only then did she realize the power of those 3 ice arrows at close range. Such attack power was almost no less than that of the ice-based soul warrior. How could this be? Isn't she from the auxiliary department? The 2 virtual shadows separated by Shui Mei were like a dream, attacking her from 2 directions, one on the left and the other on the right. Yu Shui frowned and pointed his finger slightly, condensing nearly 20 hail in mid-air, dividing into 2 parts and smashing them towards the 2 virtual shadows. The teacher was beaten to death by random punches, and he could always detect it. That's true. The 2 on stage fought fiercely, and Yizhen below grew up with a big mouth. Is it her memory problem? Is this really the combat power that a healing soul master should have? The battle between Shui Mei and Yu Shui has attracted a lot of onlookers. The students in the beginner and intermediate classes were not less surprised than Yizhen. It turns out that this is the strength of their class's cultivation of madness. Teacher Su Qi stood in the attic not far away, observing the battle, and the interest in his eyes grew stronger. Ah, Shui Mei's body was hit, and she let out a soft cry. Immediately, Yu Shui locked her gaze and said, Ice arrow, go. Dozens of ice arrows rushed from all directions in the air, disrupting Shui Mei's steps. The second soul skill, the charm of the Snow Fox, she said at the moment when Yu Shui lowered his head, the first mock examination appeared on his mouth, I have been guarding against you for a long time. A drop of water, besieged, the water droplets on the fingertips suddenly enlarge, forming a water ball that surrounds the Snow Fox and traps it inside. A drop of water martial soul can not only protect oneself, but also trap others. On the competition stage, Shui Mei struggled to escape, but Yu Shui swung a large water ball and lifted it into mid-air, then slammed it down hard. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Winning the competition. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. Winning the competition. With a loud bang, the snow-white fox shadow was heavily thrown onto the competition table. The water ball exploded and drenched Shui Mei into a dripping fox, with its wet tail thrown to the ground, looking extremely ugly. Shui Mei's 5 fingers became claws, staring fixedly at the girl across from her. Damn you Shui, how dare you throw me? I won't let you go. Trapped in battle, Shui Mei naturally won't sit idly by. The first soul skill, the clone of the Snow Fox. Unless absolutely necessary, Shui was completely worried about letting the Soul Master of the Quick Attack series approach, so let's fight quickly and make a quick decision. Ice arrow, go. She was hit by several ice arrows on her vital body, and the piercing coldness limited her mobility. As a sensitive attack-type Soul Master, she was beaten for the first time without even covering her opponent's body. Shui Mei was about to cry. Is Shui really an auxiliary type? How can it be even more difficult than the control department? Oh my god, Shui is also too strong. The onlookers in the audience all opened their mouths wide, and a weak auxiliary department was actually pressing down on a level 30 agile attack department. It was because of their eye problems or because the world was mysterious. Is she still an auxiliary department? How did Shui achieve it? Don't fight anymore. Shui Mei's soul power has been exhausted and she can't fight anymore. Shui retrieved a drop of his water martial soul, and the referee immediately announced, in this competition, I declare that Shui has won. She really did it, the auxiliary soul master won. She created a miracle. The students in the audience cheered one by one, shouting Shui's name loudly. After Shui stepped down from the stage, the rushing blue sky gave her a bear hug, gave her a thumbs up, and said in admiration, congratulations, Xiao Shui. You will soon become the auxiliary soul master of Tianshui Academy's first qualifying competition, and your name will be recorded in the history of Tianshui Academy. Shui looked at the addition of a name in the qualifying competition, and then looked at the ranking above. He was ranked last, and suddenly felt a bit overwhelmed. Really, but I don't really want such an honor, he said. Yizhen, who was waiting at the edge of the competition table, watched the competition and became even more determined in her desire to recruit Shui. As a monster genius, if she cannot become a teammate, she will be a terrible opponent in the future. Shui, I'm sorry I didn't catch Shui Mei challenging you before, let alone expecting your strength to be so strong that you defeated Shui Mei. First of all, I would like to congratulate you on your victory in this competition. Secondly, I would like to invite you once again to join my team. You can propose any conditions that are within my abilities and can be met. This kind of solicitation condition has been very attractive. Lan Tian excitedly holds Shui's hand. The little sisters is so arrogant that she was recruited to join the team. The other side is Yizhen, the top 10 expert in the ranking list. She is really envious. Shui restrained his expression and said, I still said that sentence. Thank you for the invitation. Goodbye. Being rejected again, Yizhen was both disappointed and somewhat surprised. Let's go. Shui and the blue sky gradually drifted away. No one saw on the competition platform. Shui Mei heard Yizhen's solicitation for Shui, and 5 slender nails marked the competition platform. She knew that she not only lost the competition, but also the opportunity to join Yizhen's team. Since entering the college, she has never suffered a defeat. In today's competition, she was unprecedentedly embarrassed, losing face completely. For Shui Mei, who has a proud personality, it is a shame. Underneath the harmless and gentle facial features of humans and animals lies a deep stubbornness. Shui, this time you defeated me, next time I will definitely win over you. In the cafeteria, Blue Sky shared half of his favorite small fish and shrimp with Shui, then snatched a piece of roasted lamb chops from Shui's plate and happily nibbled on them. Xiao Shui, why did you refuse Ye's invitation? Do you know how popular Yizhen's team is in the academy? At present, my strength is not strong. When I reach level 30, I will consider joining the team. Level 30 is a small goal set by Shui for himself. Before level 20, I majored in soul power. After level 20, I need to start exercising my body's mobility, weight-bearing ability, and ability to carry blows. The close combat skills I learned from the captain in my previous life have also come into use. This fighting technique is a practical martial arts form that uses skillful breaking power to defend against opponents, requiring physical strength to be stronger than ordinary people. With just 1 point of effort, Shui pinched a sheep rib and looked at her hands with a satisfied smile, not wasting a year of her time recuperating. With your abnormal upgrade speed, reaching level 30 Soul Lord is probably not far away. Blue Sky rolled his eyes. I couldn't help but ask for it, but the boss couldn't see it. Is this the difference between genius and ordinary people like us? Level 30 is not easy to break through. When I become the Soul Master, it should take a long time. To repair the soul defects of the healing Soul Master, Shui must put in most of his energy to exercise his physical strength, so his cultivation will naturally slow down. The Soul Master still doesn't know when he can break through. By the way, I have customized a new batch of exercise equipment. Do you want to come with me? Blue Sky is her only friend in the college. Shui really hopes that she can become stronger because of this, but unfortunately, she has always avoided her since using it once. Blue Sky choked for a moment and asked her to carry heavy iron and run around every day. If it could cause trouble, it would be better to kill her directly and shake her head decisively. I'm not going. After separating from the Blue Sky at the entrance of the cafeteria, Shui followed his daily training plan and went to the simulated training room. The road seemed particularly quiet today, and Shui's gaze narrowed slightly. He glanced around, and the feeling of being stared at became even stronger. Someone was staring at her. Shui paused briefly for a second before continuing to walk forward, constantly alert to the movements around her, but on the surface, it was calm. Until there was a slight wave of soul power in the air behind me. Here it is. The newcomer suddenly jumped up and launched a surprise attack from behind. The sharp claws of his 5 fingers were about to pierce Shui's shoulder blades, and the woman's voice was full of charm and, Shui, I really thought I would make it so easy for you to win. I must let you taste the taste of snow fox claws. Shui was struggling in the apocalypse, with ugly human nature and conspiracies. She had never seen anything before. Even when facing the people she knew the most, she retained a sense of reason and vigilance. Even when she noticed someone following her, Shui had already begun to be wary. The claws of the snow fox are extremely sharp, but even a drop of water from Shui is not covered. A light blue ripple appears, and a large water ball wraps Shui inside. As long as the person inside does not come out, external attacks will definitely not fall on her. A drop of water was an absolute defense, and Shui Mei's 10 fingers pierced into the water ball, like mud flowing into the sea, unable to find the focal point, and her pretty face twisted instantly. Shui held on to Shui Mei with one hand and looked into mid-air, saying, Follow me all the way, come out. Dear readers, the title of this book has been changed from Douluo's Shui to Douluo's Strongest Auxiliary Series Soul Warrior. The original intention of writing this book was just to generate power for love. I didn't expect so many people to support me. It's so touching. Don't worry, I will definitely code more characters and live up to your expectations. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Apprenticeship and Accompanying Training. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 Apprenticeship and Accompanying Training. Little one, what a keen perception ability. She just released a little breath and was caught. Su Qi fell from mid-air and looked at the two with a serious expression. Shui Mei, you have violated Article 34 of the Tianshui Academy. Since the attacker was not injured, you will be imprisoned in the punishment room for 10 days. Shui and Shui Mei were both stunned. Shui. I didn't expect this college to protect the soul masters of the auxiliary department so much, with the regulations of humanization. Shui Mei. It's so unlucky that I was hit head-on by teacher Su Qi. Shui, wait for me. I will definitely defeat you when I come back, said the 2 law enforcement officers following Su Qi, one on the left and one on the right, resisting Shui Mei. Watching her receding figure, Shui suddenly remembered the hottest anime before the end of the world, Joyful and Big Big Wolf. Every episode of Big Big Wolf would say, I will definitely come back, and the scene was inexplicably joyful. Su Qi's mouth twitched, not understanding why the girl suddenly smiled so happily, but it didn't prevent him from taking action against her. Danger! Yushui's body tensed and he took 2 steps back, only to see Su Qi, who had already reached out his hand on the opposite side. With a polar bear martial soul possessed, he quickly, accurately, and fiercely grabbed her. Girl, what are you running for? Yushui kept struggling. You have already revealed your martial soul. I won't run and wait for you to beat me up. I just want to show off my strength. You little girl, you have a lot of devilish eyes. Su Qi was speechless. As a college mentor, did she do such a shameless act of beating students? Yushui looked at the 7 soul rings on teacher Su Qi's body. They were too close, and he could feel the fierce pressure and choking voice from the beasts. He said, You, a soul saint at level 78, came to show your strength with me, a great soul master. Are you so idle? He was mentally ill. Of course, she didn't dare to say the last sentence. After all, she angered teacher Su Qi, and it was her own misfortune. I just had a sudden idea to take an apprentice. You talk like a girl, be quick, let's handle this today, Su Qi said, holding Yushui with one hand. I was originally a woman. The back of the head was immediately patted by an iron sand palm. Yushuian's eyes lit up with a golden star. Accepting disciples, what accepting disciples? When she was pinned in place by a particularly strong pressure, as if a big mountain was pressing on her body, making it difficult to breathe. The pressure grew heavier and heavier, and Yushui's back was already soaked through. Her legs trembled uncontrollably, and she could feel her blood vessels about to burst. Su Qi raised his eyebrows, and the little girl was still able to hold on, adding another layer of soul power. Yushui's sweat slid down his forehead, which he couldn't bear anymore. He knelt down on the ground with a thud. You're like a bandit trying to steal a marriage. The tyrant forced himself to bow, and I protested. Protest ineffective, hee, come on, I'll help you. Su Qi reached out and pressed her head firmly, knocking her head 3 times on the ground. Bang 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 bang. All right, we have completed the master-apprentice ceremony, and from now on, you will be my disciple. Su Qi was quite proud. She let the old ladies in the college mock her for not having an apprentice, and now there will be one. Forced to kowtow and even recognized a cheap master. Yushui's forehead was in great pain, and he felt very aggrieved in his heart. I didn't do it voluntarily, it doesn't count. Haven't you heard a saying, forcefully press the cow's head to drink water, can't you force it? Do you have such a barbaric way of accepting apprentices? It's really refreshing my bottom line and values. Su Qi dug out his ear and said with a rogue expression, I really haven't heard that before. If my mother is interested, it's mine. If it's not mine, grab it first. I'll take care of whether you're willing or not, as long as the result satisfies me. Little girl, this is to defect from the school. There are 3 conditions. First, you can beat me. Second, you can beat me. Third, you can beat me. Strong strength is just so confident. Perhaps seeing Yushui's ugly face, Su Qi realized that he had been bullying people a bit too much. He rubbed his nose and realized that she was a hot-tempered person. She used to get used to getting along with people all the time, and the first time she took on an apprentice, she really didn't know what to do. Turning the ring in his hand, he said, this thing is called the deep-sea sound snail. It has a soul-guiding device inside, which is used as a gift for our master and disciple to meet. If you encounter any trouble in the future, use it to pass me a message. At least you are also my disciple. How can you not be bullied by outsiders? After Su Qi finished speaking, he stuffed his things into Yushui's arms and hurriedly left. After prostitution, leave. No matter how well Yu Shui nurtured himself, he couldn't help but grit his teeth and curse, "I'll fuck you." On the training ground, Yu Shui carried a weight of 1,000 pounds, doing push-ups, sit-ups, frog jumps, stretching, and punching. He saw two big characters written on the specially made Iron Man's chest, Su Chi. After completing these trainings, Yu Shui sat panting on the ground, her eyes puzzled. In her past life, she joined the team of superpowers and trained in the same way. Why hasn't these trainings worked as she wanted now? Yu Shui thought of the unbearable pressure from Su Chi in the afternoon. When he looked at his body, he suddenly realized. Although she is only an auxiliary soul master, she has also experienced the sudden training of 200-year soul rings, and her physical strength is already much higher than that of a normal person. In addition, she has been exercising for 2 years before, and the intensity that her body can accept is even higher. So some of the exercise methods from the previous life must be modified accordingly. Stress, she needs to exercise in that stressful environment. Yu Shui picked up the deep-sea conch, which was much larger than a regular conch shell. It was pink-blue and emitted fluorescence, making it extremely beautiful. Tentatively approaching the tip of the conch, he said, "Teacher Su Chi." The next second, Teacher Su Chi, who was disheveled and still had dripping hair, appeared in mid-air, vigilantly looking around. "Girl, what happened?" "I just wanted to test it out, but I didn't expect you to actually come." It was a pleasant surprise. It seemed that Teacher Su Chi had run out of the bathroom, and Yu Shui felt a little ashamed as he reached out and took off the beaten and tattered paper. "I want to know, why did you take me as an apprentice?" The girl smiled sweetly and stood obediently on the playground, her eyes puzzled. Most of the mentors at Tianshui Academy are lowly Kong. This little girl is acting coquettishly at you, no matter how hard her heart is, it's so soft. Su Chi's anger after being played with miraculously calmed down, and he rubbed the girl's fluffy little head with his big hand, which feels really good. "Perhaps you don't know that I have been following you ever since you became known as a crazy cultivator. On the Douluo continent, the cultivation of soul masters is an extremely important process before the age of 20. It can be said that the achievements before the age of 20 determine future achievements. Youth is an advantage, and at this stage, all efforts are tangible feedback to oneself. I have seen countless students, and your talent and diligence are the only ones I have ever seen in my life. With innate talent and hard work, Yu Shui, your future is limitless. Perhaps it can reach places that I can't even reach." Su Chi looked at the stars in the night sky. Dark clouds drifted past, blocking a large area, but the brightest one still emitted light. "Is it because of love?" Okay, she accepts this answer. It's not in vain to betray her beauty. "I have another question. As a teacher, one should wholeheartedly teach students. Are you right?" Yu Shui blinked his eyes as if they were shining with brilliant stars. For some reason, Su Chi looked at her smile and felt a chill on his back. He yawned and thought back for a moment, but his words seemed to be fine. He nodded and said, "You're right." "That's good." Yu Shui put away his smile and clenched his hands into a fist. He then lifted Teacher Su Chi's shoulder elbow and gave her a severe over-shoulder throw, then looked at her provocatively. "I was just joking, so I'm sure the teacher wouldn't be angry with me as a student, right?" Su Chi clenched his fist and his anger surged. "Little girl, today I'm going to teach you what it means to respect teachers and respect the way. What's waiting for is your move." Yu Shui's goal is achieved. He secretly compares himself to a scissor hand in his heart, delivers goods to his doorstep, and accompanies a tool person to practice. He doesn't even have to apologize for the 3 bangs he made. "I'm ready, please don't hesitate to teach me, teacher." Before Teacher Su Chi could react, Yu Shui had already bounced up. She didn't use her martial soul, she was just practicing close combat skills. "Little girl, you don't even use martial soul, you underestimate the teacher too much." Su Chi twisted his neck, his angry fist emitting a dangerous signal. Although the little girl's body method was strange just now, she was well prepared this time. If Shui could easily throw her out again, then her holy spirit of war would really be in vain. Is the teacher serious? Yes, that's the feeling. Every inch of his muscles could feel the overwhelming pressure, and Shui became excited. Come and fight. Time and time again, I rushed up and was beaten by Teacher Su Chi, my nose and face swollen. Every time I couldn't hold on, I would use a drop of water to heal myself and then make a comeback. Even if he suffered a severe injury and recovered a few times, Shui immediately became lively and vigorous. With this kind of exercise, he became more and more brave, like an indestructible Shao Chang. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Ice Phoenix. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9 Ice Phoenix. Upon entering the intermediate class, Shui had to go to his job every day for healing, while also observing his classmates' soul-fighting situations. In the afternoon, he had close combat training with Teacher Su Chi. On the competition stage today, Snow Fox and Water Binger stood opposite each other, one fiery red fairy and the other as cold as frost. The referee announced the start of the competition on the side. Three-tailed red fox, attached body, Ice Phoenix, come out now. On the competition stage, Phoenix Shadow and three-tailed red fox appeared at the same time, their strong and domineering aura belonging to the Soul Lord colliding together, with a strong smell of gunpowder. Among the onlookers below, Shui was very curious as he watched the competition between the two. The blue sky lit up with two eyes and a face full of admiration, saying, "It is said that when Snow Fox's martial soul awakened, it underwent a transformation. Not only was it a unique red fox, but it also had two more tails. Now it is a 9th grade student and has received praise from the dean, once crushing students of the same level. Although Shui Binger is young, her martial soul, the Ice Phoenix, is one of the top beast martial souls on Douluo continent. Both of them are in the extreme water attribute control system, and I don't know who is more powerful." Shui looked at the martial soul of the three-tailed red fox and asked, "Her surname is Shui. What is her relationship with Shui Mei?" Blue Sky sneered slightly and said, "Snow Fox is Snow Mei's cousin. The Snow family was once a subordinate count of the Tiando royal family, and the Princess of Snow Star is their aunt. She is a very scheming woman." Blue Sky secretly gave her a glance and said, "I'll tell you some gossip. Snow Fox's uncle, also known as the Prince of Snow Star, personally approached the dean and asked her to take Snow Fox as her disciple. However, the dean had already set his sights on Shui Binger, which is why today's competition happened. If Snow Fox wins this time, senior sister Shui Binger will probably be suppressed by the Shui family in the future." Blue Sky pursed his lips and said, "The official level is crushing me." Shui looked at the blue figure on the competition table with unwavering determination. She will win. In the midst of speaking, the two people on the test bench have already passed 3 moves. First soul skill. Red fox flicks its tail, the snow fox twisted its waist, revealing 3 fiery red tails, and swung toward Shui Binger. She was a control-type soul master, but the attack speed of the first soul skill was almost on par with that of the quick attack type. Second soul skill. Ice ring armor, but seeing the rapid attack of the snow fox, Shui Binger's calm face showed no expression, and she had an additional layer of defense armor on her body. Then, the third purple soul ring lit up, third soul skill. Resist the ice ring. On the competition stage, it was extremely cold, but I saw the snow fox instantly frozen on the competition stage. With one move, she defeated the enemy, but Shui Binger's expression did not relax at all. She was always alert to the snow fox on the opposite side. The fox is cunning in nature, and the top spot on the snow fox ranking list is not illusory. Second soul skill. Red fox clone. A sound of breaking through the air appeared behind her, but suddenly Snow Fox appeared from behind and raised her claws. She wanted to launch a surprise attack, but Shui Binger immediately mobilized her martial soul and flew into the sky. This move made Snow Fox pounce in the air. One is working as a mage in mid-air, attacking from a distance, while the other is constantly provoking a sudden attack based on speed. The two people on stage come and go, while the audience below is boiling with excitement, especially the blue sky, almost carrying banners and shouting loudly. The second soul skill clone of Snow Fox has the same effect as Snow May, but she can split into 3 bodies, which is equivalent to increasing attack power. Is this the mutated martial soul? Yu Shui watched their battle and analyzed their next actions in his mind, thinking about how he should defeat the enemy and win in the future when encountering this move. According to the information she saw in the library, the 5 major elemental academies in the Heavenly Do Empire, Tianshui, Shenfeng, Shihua, Thunder, and Elephant, respectively, represent water, wind, fire, thunder, and earth. On the Douluo continent, most soul masters develop themselves into a comprehensive type, while the 5 Elements Academy advocates for cultivating their own martial souls to the extreme. Currently, whether it's Snow Fox or Water Ice, this is the practice situation. But now, the competition platform is in a state of anxiety. The ice seal of Shui Binger did not seem to have the expected effect compared to the Snow Fox, who was 6 levels higher than her. Her armor defense and advantage of being in mid-air also made the Snow Fox helpless towards her. The enchanting fox's eyes narrowed as it flew up and pounced, the third soul skill. Charm. First soul skill, Frozen. The reason why Shui Binger chose the sky was to guard against the charm of the Snow Fox. Facing those evil eyes, Shui Binger's face stiffened and she quickly used the first soul skill group instant cast, trapping all 3 distractions of the Red Fox. The charm skill is working, Snow Fox chuckled proudly. Shui Binger's first soul skill can only trap her for 3 seconds, while her third soul skill can confuse Shui Binger for 30 seconds. And what she wants to fight for is this time difference, defeat Shui Binger, and regain the attention of the Dean. After the 3 clones of the Snow Fox broke through the ice barrier, they jumped up and directly attacked Shui Binger, but were blocked by a layer of ice shield. That's right, this is the backhand left by Shui Binger. She first trapped the Snow Fox with ice and quickly applied her second soul skill. Ice Ring Armor. Ice Sealing is a body restriction technique, and Ice Ring Armor is a defensive soul skill. Even if Snow Fox breaks free from being trapped, she cannot harm her. Now it depends on whether the charm of the Snow Fox is strong or the defense of the Water Ice. Just as the Snow Fox broke through the Ice Ring Armor, Shui Binger lifted her charm and regained her consciousness. The girl stood on the huge phoenix shadow, her fair face adorned with exquisite facial features, which was a hazy beauty. The third soul skill. Resisting the ice ring, on the competition platform, ice and snow began to condense, instantly forming a repulsive ice ring that spread outwards from the center of the water ice, capable of causing damage to the opponent while also bouncing them away. Bang! Snow Fox was bounced out and fell heavily under the competition table. The referee announced on the side, Shui Binger won this competition. Wow, Sister One, Shui Yuer applauded happily from the audience. Shui Binger is the best. The blue sky cheered, Xiao Shui, did you see that? Shubinger's last move to defeat the enemy is really handsome. Yu Shui looked at the lost Shuehu without a trace, and saw her staring at Shubinger's sister with bad eyes, and frowned slightly. The Shui's cousin seemed not very thoughtful. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Tianshui Battle Soul Field. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Tianshui Battle Soul Field. In the teacher's office, Su Qi yawned and leaned half on his desk, feeling weak and as if his body had been emptied. Upon seeing this, Teacher Haiyan across from me couldn't help but tease and say, Teacher Su, in the past 2 months, you have been feeling down every day. Do you have a date every night? Su Qi's eyes were lifeless and he waved his hand. Don't mention it, I've taken in a monster genius. I'm really in pain and happy, he said just as Su Qi was thinking about what reason to give himself a break. Shui had already walked into the office, placed red bean milk tea on the table, and looked at her with a smile. Teacher, it's time for training, let's go, he said. Girl, I have something else to do today. I'm going to hold a teacher union, so I won't go. Su Qi felt guilty and touched his nose, his eyes flickering. God knows, her favorite thing in the past was to guide students to practice, but after receiving Shui, she realized what kind of torture a hard-working, eager to learn, and particularly capable of drawing analogies from others was. In the past 2 years of turbulent times, she missed the taste of freedom so much. This girl is just a devil. She not only arranges her time carefully, but also makes use of her time. She really needs to be meticulous in every penny. Every day, apart from normal work, sleeping, and even taking up a cup of coffee, it's really frustrating. Beat her hard, my disciple is still a little distressed. After a slight softening of her heart, the little girl found the right time to give you a chain over the shoulder throw. Who knows, how could this little girl have that strange and peculiar boxing technique? You can scold her, looking at you with that wet gaze, you're already feeling discouraged. Reasoning with her, she has more wisdom than you, and the key is that she almost read half of the books in the library. How can such students be taught? Su Qi too is big. The teacher is lying. I have copied a copy of your schedule. Today, all the teachers are on vacation. Don't try to deceive me. Shui mercilessly punctured the teacher's lie, his deep blue eyes flickering and saying, I'm so cute and well behaved. Does the teacher not want to teach me anymore? Although Shui is still a small one now, after experiencing Su Qi's 2 years of gravity close combat training, her muscle burst ability is comparable to that of a quick attack type soul master. Seeing the benefits, Shui's gaze became even hotter as she watched the teacher's gaze. She had to keep a close eye on the human flesh sandbag. It would be a pity if she had run away. Where would she find such a suitable person? Su Qi's mouth twitched and remained unmoved. I had already seen through the sinister intentions beneath your innocent face. I really thought that pretending to be good could occupy a quarter of her time every day and use it as your human flesh sandbag. I'm telling you, it's impossible. I won't do it anymore. In Tianshui College, except for advanced class students and teachers who can freely enter and exit the college, the remaining intermediate and low-level class students must stay in the college and not go out. She has been in school for almost 4 years, and apart from hunting soul rings twice, she has never come out again. Walking in the bustling city with the smell of human fireworks, the sun shines on her body, warm and cozy. Taking off the school uniform of Tianshui College, Shui changed into the clothes given by the teacher. He wore a light blue dress on his upper body, tight-fitting milky white pants on his lower body, slender calves, and a youthful face. His eyebrows and eyes were curved, and a pink-blue conch hung from his slender swan neck. Tianshui Battle Soul Field. This huge building looks like a giant beast overlooking the city from the outside. Su Qi looked at Shui with a serious tone and said, in the college, you once applied to the competition platform, but I rejected it. Now I'll tell you the reason. At this point, she paused and said in a deep voice, in the eyes of outsiders, you are an auxiliary soul master. Although I don't know where your strange soul skills come from, their function is very powerful. Being strong means it will be coveted by people. Do you understand? On the Douluo continent, there are different martial souls and their own cultivation methods. However, the phenomenon of the weak eat the strong exists everywhere. Su Qi's expression was somewhat complicated. Children crossing the market with golden bricks will only attract trouble. I promised the teacher that in the college, unless you encounter a threat to life, you should not expose these things too early. The Tianshui Battle Soul Field will be the place for your future cultivation. In the Soul Master realm, the martial soul is a symbol of talent, and the soul ring is the foundation behind the competition of soul masters. How to determine the strength of a soul master can only be reflected through one's own efforts. Wear this mask, and in the soul master field, do not reveal your true information. Here, you are about to participate in various soul fighting competitions. Shui's heart sank as he looked at his left and right hands. His face was heavy, and even the twin martial souls hidden by his teacher, every man is innocent, he harbors his own sins. Ultimately, it was because he was too weak. Teacher, I promise you, Shui clenched her fist on one side and looked firmly at the soul fighting field. After 4 years of silence, her heart began to stir, and she wanted to become stronger. With a sudden kick beside him, Shui was almost kicked and hit the doorpost. He turned to look at the culprit and said, I suspect you're retaliating against me. Su Qi calmly withdrew his feet. The mischievous bear child should be released to harm others. Go register, he said. Front desk registration office. Shui delivered the golden soul coin and said, Hello, I want to participate in a 1.1 soul fighting competition in the game category. The receptionist saw a strange-looking little guy with half a head protruding from the office desk across from her. May I ask your name, martial soul, and cultivation level, respectively? Name. Undead bird, martial soul. Blue water, level 22 great soul master. Front desk lady, please come here to test. Shui released his martial soul, underwent testing, and then obtained an iron doe soul emblem. Then he was arranged to rest in a spacious room, waiting to play. Shui's arrival did not catch the attention of other soul masters. After all, everyone here seemed to be meditating, trying to maintain their best state, waiting for the upcoming soul battle. After waiting for 10 minutes, Shui took out milk tea and drank it while observing the movements on the nearby competition field. The broadcast rang out, 1-on-1 soul battle, please let Shirley and the undead bird go up to the 4th soul battle platform. Shui threw his finished milk tea cup into the trash can and walked towards the area of Hall 4. The soul fighting field was larger than expected, and there were still many people in the audience below. Shui looked at his opponent. He is about 1.6 meters tall, with a sturdy appearance, broad shoulders and back, a large belly, like a ball, shouting foolishly, and his back seems to be covered with a layer of iron armor, making his walking clumsy. This is a defensive soul master, and his martial soul should be a hard animal with a shell. Then Shui saw his martial soul possessed. Shirley, martial soul. Pangolin, level 28 defense soul master, please advise. Undead bird, martial soul. Blue water, level 22 sensitive attack soul master, please advise. The previous chapter was modified. End of this chapter.